Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is the unboxing of Mobiistar X1 Notch. Now this is the first phone from Mobiistar to launch in 2019 and this is a review unit, so I don't have the complete specification and pricing information. So I'll be talking about the things that are mentioned on the box. So with that said, without any further more delays, let's just get on with the unboxing. So it's pretty simple packaging. By the way, I will leave a link for the product page in the description. Check that out for more information. So there are two seals, and now over here we have some highlighting features like the 5.7-inch HD Plus display, 13 megapixel front and rear cameras, face unlock with smart unlock, and it also supports dual LTE. Now the main highlighting feature of this phone is obviously the notch, and it is also supposed to have this amazing looking two-tone finish back, just like the latest Vivo phones. Now let me just get back to unboxing it. First we have the phone itself, which really looks amazing. I'll get back to it in a minute. And I was really hoping for a dual camera setup, but this one has a single rear camera. That's a bit surprising considering many phones these days come with a dual camera setup. Now inside this box we get some documentation which gives us basic information about the phone, buttons and all. Next we have the soft silicone pouch, which we'll look in a minute. Now going on next, we have the regular micro USB charging cable, not Type-C. That's to be expected, I guess. Next we have the SIM card ejector and the power adapter. So this power adapter has a maximum output of 7.5 watts, which is less than most usual phones, but kind of okay. Now finally we even get earbuds, I guess. So let me just remove that. So unlike most other phones these days, we also get free earbuds inside the box, which is a pretty great thing. So these are all the contents of the box. Now let's come back to the phone itself. So here's the phone in a plastic wrapping. So this is how the phone looks, and at the bottom we have the IMEI number and regular specifications. By the way, we can remove it and I would definitely suggest you to do that. And this is how the phone looks on the back. On the front you also get a free screen guard pre-applied, and you can remove the top layer in this way. So this usually doesn't happen, but as you can see it's a normal screen guard and it has a film over the top, and this screen guard is supposed to be on the phone. Well, I ruined it. Anyway guys, this is how the phone looks on the front, pretty much a black slate or black bar, and on the back it looks stunning with all these different hues, and nothing much to say about it. It just looks super premium and super cool. Now coming to some basic specifications that we got on the box. This phone has a 5.7-inch IPS display with HD Plus resolution, with obviously the display notch, with a 13 megapixel rear camera and a 30 megapixel front facing camera. By the way, this phone has a single rear camera, there's no dual camera setup. Now let's have a quick physical overview and then check out the specs. On the back, this phone has a glass kind of a finish, probably fiberglass with a 2.5D curve to it. At the top it is a camera module with a 13 megapixel camera followed by a single LED flash. That's followed by a fingerprint scanner on the right side and Mobiistar branding below it. At the bottom it is completely plain. Now on the front, this phone has a 5.7-inch display with HD Plus resolution, with a display notch housing the earpiece, sensors and a 13 megapixel front facing camera. Below the display it's completely plain. Now at the top it has a 3.5mm audio jack. On the right side we have the power and volume buttons. On the left side it has a SIM card tray housing 2 nano SIM slots along with a dedicated SD card slot. Finally at the bottom it has two speaker grills, one with a primary microphone and another one with a mono speaker. At the center it has a micro USB charging port. Now coming to the rest of the specifications, at least from what I found on the box, this phone supports an octa-core processor with 3GB of RAM, 32GB of storage and a 3020 mAh battery. Now this is how the phone looks with the free case that we get inside the box. It has cutouts for the fingerprint scanner, camera module, and thankfully it doesn't have cutouts for the buttons. And even with the case on, these buttons are pretty much clickable. And most interestingly, it has a raised lid for the fingerprint scanner and the camera module. So camera module is well protected and fingerprint scanner is now much more easily traceable. Like with the case on, you can easily find the fingerprint scanner. Now coming to the front, it doesn't have a raised lid to protect the display. So if you place the phone directly on its face, display will definitely get scratched. So that's about the case. Now let me turn on the phone and set it up and see what we get right out of the box. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we turn it on. this is the default home screen, and on the left side we have the Google feed. On the right side we have the regular applications. As usual, there is no app drawer, so all the applications are thrown to the home screen. There isn't a lot of bloatware, but it does come with some useless applications, and if you want to uninstall them, just long press on them, go to settings or app info. Now click uninstall to uninstall that particular application. Now it's gone. So this phone is running Android 8.1.0, that's Oreo, with October security patch, which is kinda okay. Now this phone seems to be having pure stock Android but without the regular launcher. And if you really want a launcher with an app drawer, you can always install third-party launcher like Nova Launcher. Now coming to the storage section, out of that 32 GB of space, you get about 25.11 GB of free space for your user apps and user data. Now let me just see if we can hide this notch, which is something most people will look for. So there is no option to hide the notch, but interestingly we have the option to change the color temperature of the display and even change the saturation level, which is pretty unique. And unlike most phones, we can actually change the layout of these buttons from here. So if you don't like this particular layout, you can go back to Back, Home and Recent Apps. I'll just go with that. Now this is the interface for the rear camera, and interestingly it even has AI mode for rear camera, which was really surprising for me. So there you go, that's AI mode. Next we have video recording, and we can record video in 1080p. So there you go. Next, this phone even has electronic image stabilization, which is a pretty rare thing to see. We'll have to see if it actually works well or not. Next we have face beauty mode for rear camera, that's followed by night mode. So shots from this night mode should be pretty interesting. Now this is the interface for the front facing camera. We can record video, we also have face beauty mode. And finally, you also get night mode for the front camera, which is kind of a rare thing to see. So guys, that was the camera interface. Now these are some sample pictures taken using the front and rear cameras. By the way guys, there is no portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. So guys, now let's test the speaker loudness.
Honor has launched Honor 7X, and that's after 10 months. They have launched the Honor 8X. So what's new? New glass design, better cameras, better processor, and an increased price. Well, at least they are giving us something new, unlike Xiaomi, which put the same chip on the ring.
So guys, speaker on this phone is pretty loud, great for media consumption, ringtone and alarms. Now for the final test, let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up, so let's test it. So there is no haptic feedback when I'm using the right fingerprint. That's a bit disappointing. I did check that with all the phones, and most of the phones don't give that. Fingerprint scanner is actually quite fast. Like, it's just taking like half a second delay, but it's pretty fast. But some kind of haptic feedback would have been great. Now let's set up face unlock. To set it up, we need to go to settings, then select face unlock. Now enroll our face. Usually most phones with stock Android doesn't come with face unlock, but this one has it and it is giving us some additional options. So just enable it, and now let's test it. So this is in well-lit conditions and it's kinda okay. It's taking like 2 to 3 seconds, I guess. So in well-lit conditions it works, but it is kinda slow. I'd rather use a fingerprint scanner. Now let's see if it works with my eyes closed. So I've closed my eyes and I just got a haptic feedback saying face unlock failed. Now let's test it once again with eyes open, and it works. Now let's test it in low lighting conditions. So there are just small bulbs in the background. And even in low lighting conditions it works, but as I've said earlier, it is slow. So if you're a big fan of face unlock feature, you can definitely give it a try, but I would stick to this super fast fingerprint scanner. Now before I conclude, these are the Antutu benchmark scores. For some reason, I was not able to run Geekbench score on this phone. So guys, this is the new Mobiistar X1 notch. the first phone in 2019 from Mobiistar with a notch and probably with a pretty good pricing. So what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. And if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.